The holidays are over, so welcome back to Rated Radio with your hosts Rayburn Alexander and Shane Wyndham. Rayburn, what Billboard hit did we cover this week?
All Too Well by Taylor Swift.
Before we get into that, I would just want to say thank you to Mr. Bradley for recommending the Chili Peppers. We completely dropped the ball on drawing that out of the jar and never made up for it, so thanks, Toby.
Yeah.
What did you think about All Too Well?
This contribution from Mrs. Swift is a soft, raw, emotional contribution. It's nothing short of beautiful. You can tell the meaning, and definitely the way it's presented is riddled with heartbroken reminiscence. Lastly, man, do I not envy Jake Gyllenhaal right now.
I don't understand. I've seen the memes and stuff. Was she with him or something during the Red era?
Calm down. Yes. That whole
okay.
song's about like her relationship with him. His all of her fans are like blasting him on social media. The whole line about my scarf's still at your sister's house or whatever. Maggie Gyllenhaal. She's apparently still got Taylor Swift's scarf. Drama.
Yeah, I care nothing for that.
I know, it's fine.
So I'm giving this song a 5, but if I'm being honest, it's not a strong 5 for me. The lyrics are what drive it, and the hook is just punchy enough to make the utter bore that the rest of the instrumentation is seem worth having endured. If you're new here, please know that I'm a Swift fan, generally speaking. I believe in the past I've referred to her as one of the greatest songwriters of the current generation. Worth noting that this is a re-record from her album Red. It's got a poppier vibe now, but you can still distinctly hear the country roots of the original, and I appreciate that the two versions are different. Additionally, the music video has some great performances by those hired to act in it, assuming you can make it past the hand being dropped without checking out of the experience entirely, like I did.
And to tack on what Shane had already said, I also gave this a 5.
Maybe it's just me, but I'd have gone right then and there, and my hand got dropped.
Yeah.
The 10-minute version holds my 5 rating too, by the way. It's the superior version, in my opinion, a testament to how much her writing skills have improved since the Red album first released. Anyway, enough about that. Let's roll the intro. So how'd you feel about my song list? Oh, we're not talking about that yet.
No, we're not. But I felt attacked. Very, very attacked.
Right.
But incidentally, I think you were a little too.
Yeah.
So anyway.
We'll hold off on that until the break. Mm-hmm. So it's the finale. So we listen to 5 random CDs by 5 artists we've covered before.
Yep.
Stuff we haven't listened to before.
We've listened to a lot from these people before.
Yes.
But not these particular albums, no.
First up was Blake Shelton's The Dreamer album from 2003. This was my bottom album.
This was second to last for me.
Out of the 10 tracks, I gave 4 5s.
I gave 2 5s.
My top track was Asphalt Cowboy.
My top track was Under the Same Moon.
And my bottom track was Playboys of the Southwestern World.
Playboys of the Southwestern World.
High quality sound and some solid songs. Problem for me is the rock drums and bass kicking over run-of-the-mill country guitar and lyrical tropes. These things clash in a bad way. I also, once again, found myself tired of hearing Shelton's voice before the end of the first listen, and there are only 10 tracks here. For what it's worth, I'm surprised that nearly half of the album garnered 5s.
For me, this was romantic. Shelton's voice is pleasing, but it definitely loses me a little with the party tracks. This is also coming from someone that loved girls in bikinis, but it's too much. It feels like they're trying way too hard when it comes to those party tracks.
What it reminds me of, and I get why this sort of country is lumped in with pop, I feel like what they're trying to make is an album for people who don't listen to any other kind of music.
Okay.
You know, we need our party music. We need our heartbreak songs. We need all of it in the same place, a dance song.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work for me. I want like a solid one country theme running throughout.
Yeah, you want an album with a continuous vision and theme throughout.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whiskey Myers Mud, for example. Like there's a core there that it doesn't stray from.
Yeah.
Anyway, next album we covered was the D12 album Devil's Night from 2001. This was my middle album.
This was also my middle album.
Out of the 19 tracks, I gave 12 fives.
I gave 4 fives.
My top track was American Psycho.
My top track was Girls. Ouch, Limp Bizkit.
Really?
Yikes. Yep.
And my bottom track was That's How, the skit. I like the actual song, but...
Skit. Another skit. I think there were several here.
Yeah, and they're dumb.
Yeah.
The melodies, while very good, rarely evolve, and some of the lyrical content is trying too hard to be extreme. In spite of those things, there's still a dozen or so amazing tracks here. Memorable with styles that feel like Strange Music produced a collab album between Ghetto Boys and Two Live Crew. Disturbing and fun. I love it.
Yeah, at times this album is goofy, dark, and sullen. I really, really enjoyed the album cover. Clever lyricists. I mean, not to, toot Eminem's horn, but toot toot. There's also a lot of other great lyricists that do not include him that are included on this album. Definitely vibing together. I think out of all the D12 albums that we've listened to over the span of Rated Radio, this one's the one that I really felt they were all on the same page. They just understood where each of them were.
Yes.
So that definitely came across when listening to this album. And I definitely see why you'd been wanting to do Devil's Night for a while. So
I think what they get right here, and I suspect it's got something to do with Eminem. I'm sure it's not all Eminem. These guys are talented on their own, for sure. But I think there has definitely been some coaching there of each member needs to have their own style.
Yeah.
Like you need to be able to tell who is who no matter what. And it works. There are quite a few of them, so it can be hard at first, but it definitely works. Please
don't shoot me. But you saying that, think about when we talked about Spice Girls.
Mm-hmm.
NSYNC. Yes, we're talking about pop girl and boy bands, but they each added their own thing to the bigger picture that made the bigger picture more grand.
Yes.
And I think that that's the same thing that's happening here, like you said.
Most definitely. And it can be a little hard at first because if you're used to just hearing Eminem, it's going to feel like you're listening to NSYNC for the first time, but Usher is part of the group or something. Yeah. I don't know. But this group could definitely do their own thing without Eminem if they wanted to, and it would still work. I like it. Yeah. Anyway. Ramble forever about D12.
Oh, it's all right. It's our show. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Next up was from 2021. It's Greta Van Fleet's The Battle at Garden's Gate. This was my top album.
Yes. This was also my top album.
Out of the 12 tracks, I gave 12 fives.
I gave 7 fives. Oh.
Out of practice over here.
Sorry. It's been a while.
I love that. We're going into the 7th season and we still don't have an actual noise track.
Dude, I remember I put it on my phone. We did it one episode or something and then I just gave up. I had a whole soundboard, but people missed the that's my special spin on it.
Okay. My top track was Stardust Clouds.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
My top track is Light My Love.
I thought it was going to be the first track for sure.
No, it's not Heat Above. Even though that was my top track for 2021. It's Light My Love. I think I got to that one later in the year, so it didn't have as many plays. I played it a lot closer to the end of the year. It just grew on me like a fungus.
What's your bottom track?
Age of Machine.
Mine was My Way Soon.
Okay.
I would add that I also gave their other album that we've covered, which leaves us with one more album from this group. Mm-hmm. But so far, perfect ratings on both albums. Mm-hmm. And this was most definitely, now that we are in 2022, I can say that for the year 2021, this was my album of the year.
Yeah. Dude, listeners, I have been telling him, listen to this album. This is
we listen to 8 CDs a week.
I know that. But I knew this would be your jam. I listened to it. It's got it's got a medieval aspect. It's soft. It's romantic. It's so many different things. And I'm like, Shane would dig this. And we listen to so much music that it gets, oh yeah, I'll listen to that one later.
It's Led Zeppelin in the current generation and holding your attention a little better than it, for me anyway. I know a lot of people just love Led Zeppelin to no end.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love Led Zeppelin, but not to no end.
Yeah.
This group is a little different.
Yeah.
What are your notes?
Powerful lead vocals. If you don't like belting, you're gonna hate it. I believe his name is Josh. Yeah, Josh. That might be the brother. There's 3. The band is made up of 3 brothers, and the drummer is not a brother, but 3 brothers: Josh, Sam, and another J name. Anyway, no one shoot me. Reminiscent of medieval rock. A lot of layering going on here. They experiment with some different types of rock, but always staying true to their core foundation rock bass, which a lot of people associate with Led Zeppelin. But they are so much more than that. Pretty, and the guitarist is totally talented.
I will agree.
Like, don't sleep on the guitar when it comes to this band.
And I was reading my notes here and realized that I've done them a disservice because what I want you to do when you think about this group is consider the best musical moments you get from the likes of Led Zeppelin and Rush.
Okay.
Late 80s Rush. And that's just to name a few of the comparable artists you could throw in here. That's the level of listening bliss this group consistently delivers here. Not many discs pull off the moods of brooding and weightlessness in equal amounts. This group makes it seem effortless, though. It would be no stretch to say this is one of the finest albums I ever expect to hear. Most greatest hits albums aren't even this good.
Nice.
Is that high enough praise?
That
Am I
is
driving
high
the point
enough
home?
praise.
All
I
right.
will add on that the guitarist and the lead singer are twins, for those of you that don't know, but they look very, very different due to their style.
Anyway, let's get on to our break.
God, could I be enough of a fangirl when it comes to Greta Van Fleet? I'm not real big into the music of today, but they're probably like in my top 5, along with like The Weeknd, of artists today that really, they just make music so creatively.
I'm just happy we're both on the same page. I feel like it's been a while, so
Yeah, it has.
it's nice. We can agree on some bottom tracks, but it's rare that we like a group that much in equal amounts.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to not talk about The Weeknd's Dawn FM album that just came out, but we're just going to skip right past it.
Oh, no, don't even lie. Don't act like we haven't been talking about it. We're just not going to talk about it here.
Correct.
Okay.
What are we going to talk about? What was that list?
Top 10 songs you're teased for liking. I mean,
I'm pretty sure a solid half of my list is just shit you give me hell for.
really? I went and looked at your list. Some of it, I was like, yeah, that was me. Half? Damn. Okay. All right.
So what
I'm
do you
sorry.
have? What do you have for story time today?
All right.
What are you teased for liking?
Well, I'm teased for liking Whistle While You Twerk by Yin Yang Twins. Story.
Can I add?
Sure.
I've heard some of that group recently,
Have you?
and I wasn't listening to that song, but for some reason, that's the song that's been stuck in my head.
Yeah.
I've had to hold back because you can't just walk around singing that with little kids around.
Well, let's get on to my story. I was a closeted Yin Yang Twin fan till about 7th grade when I unexpectedly confessed to a classmate, who shall remain nameless, you know who you are, that this was my favorite song from them at the time, not knowing what
it meant.
Idiot. My very vanilla ass did not anticipate the amount of hysterical laughter that followed. Thanks. Has not shamed me from continuing to listen to their music, and it's still one of my favorites, now that I know what it actually is.
Yeah. Not surprised with your freaky ass.
Yeah.
What I went with here is for the listeners.
Okay.
Let me explain. So it's a Dr. Hook song called The Wonderful Soupstone. I'm teased for liking this song because when I got heavy into Dr. Hook, I ran across this song and knew it word for word on the first listen. Understandably, confused me. So I started asking people if they knew it too. Apparently, other people not only don't know it, but they think it's a silly song. Years later, my only speculation as to why I know this track is that it must have had something to do with elementary school. So if you were in grade school with me, go give this a listen and let me know if you know why this track rings a bell. Like most early Dr. Hook songs, it was written by Shel Silverstein. but I'm hoping to eventually nail down where this sense of familiarity initially took root in my life. So far, I'm drawing a blank. I do not think we read anything about a soup stone from Shel Silverstein when I was young. I could be wrong.
You cannot go wrong with Shel Silverstein, though.
Which is why you can't go wrong with Dr. Hook.
Yeah. It's funny. I love that we both picked kind of stories that reminded us of like school and classmates. But you mentioning the whole Shel Silverstein thing. So I turned 30 in 2021. This is a pointless story, but I turned 20. I turned 30 in 2021. And one of my things on my bucket list is to get a tattoo. Something small, whatever. Still haven't done it. And Blue, my spouse, and I were considering getting tattoos at the same time. And we were talking about ideas. Do you know what this fucker said? He said,
"Do tell.
We should get the book cover where the sidewalk ends, and you get the little girl on one side, and me get him get the boy on the other. And when you put them next to each other, it's where the sidewalk ends, them looking over."
So what's wrong with that?
It's so big.
Oh,
it's so big.
Gotcha.
I loved the idea. I was also thinking about kind of the missing piece. For most of you that don't know that story, I mean, I thought about getting the missing piece and sticking to the Shel Silverstein kind of thing. But he said that, and I was kind of like, wow, you like Shel Silverstein, huh?
Like him enough to tattoo it on you.
I guess, but not a bad idea.
No,
just
not at
a little
all.
big.
Not at all.
Anyway.
Let's go talk about our other two albums and then move on to the finale.
Yay, more music.
So our next and final album by Mystikal. Last album by Mystikal. Not the last album for today. Last album by Mystikal.
How dare you disrespect the queen, sir?
Okay.
But moving on.
Mystikal with Ghetto Fabulous from 1998. This was my next to last album.
This was my last album.
Out of the 16 tracks, I gave 6 5s.
I gave 2 5s.
My top track was The Stick Up.
What You Want, What You Need.
And my bottom track was Life Ain't Cool.
Same. I don't like those Master P tracks. Sorry.
No?
Not sorry.
All right.
I've never been a fan of Master P, really. I don't know if it's his style of rapping, his voice. Logan used to listen to a lot of Master P, Logan being my brother, for listeners that don't know. I just never got into him. That's just me.
I love Master P.
Maybe.
I don't think that there were a lot of artists on his label. Mm-hmm. It just didn't blend well with, and this is one of those.
Well, incidentally, my top track included Busta Rhymes, which can't go wrong with Busta Rhymes.
Nope.
And maybe I just haven't found the Master P album or song that I like, but we'll listen to more of him hopefully later on and change
Ghetto
my mind. So
this disc is a big old mixed bag.
Sorry. I don't want to cough over you. I got a tickle in my throat. I'm sorry.
She got the COVID.
No, I do
She
not.
brought the COVID up into my office
I did
here.
not. It's the coffee.
This disc is a big old mixed bag with some of the best and worst beats and features ever. Its through line is Mystikal's immense talent for verses and lacking skill for hooks. Without the No Limit influence, I think this would land mostly as a classic. Even the Weed song gets it somewhat right this time. Solid 5s, impressive drum and turntable work. He and Master P just don't blend well.
Can be repetitive, at times soulful, can be compared to James Brown, so Shane's comparison in last albums, I can definitely tell now, was spot on, and I don't like to say that very often.
The James Brown of rap.
Yep. Album has a couple of decent collabs, but not the worst. So, not the best, not the worst.
And then we have our last album, which was Tina Turner's Break Every Rule from 1986. Mm-hmm. This was my runner-up.
This was also my runner-up.
Out of the 11 tracks, I gave 10 5s.
I gave 1 5, but I will explain myself in a little bit.
My top track was I'll Be Thunder.
My top track was Typical Male.
My bottom track was Till the Right Man Comes Along.
My bottom track was Overnight Sensation.
Man.
I know.
This spin is so undeniably 80s pop rock that it felt instantly familiar to my nostalgic ears in spite of the fact that I'd never heard any of these songs before. Apparently that's going to be the theme for today's episode is shit I know even though I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
On the whole, there's loads of melodic variation and high-quality sound layering. A bit of it misses the mark, but never by much. I expected some winners, but nowhere near as many as I wound up with. Go spin this thing a few times. If you like the genre, you're welcome in advance.
This album, to explain my reasoning why I only gave 1 5, and yet it ranked so high for me. This album, consistent throughout. Emotional powerhouse, passionate direction. Some songs can lack a strong flow, but vocals and inflections are definitely strong. Guitar, rock, soul, heavy. You don't expect this type of music out of someone with Tina Turner's vocals.
Mm-hmm.
But it fits so well and how strong her voice is. So, yeah, extremely consistent. I didn't give a lot of 5s, but that doesn't mean that there's bad here.
Yep.
So
I feel like she's queen, and you can't do
sorry people.
You can't do an Elvis or a Michael Jackson, queen of or king of rock or king of pop. You can't do that to her because she's all over the map.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we'll probably cover more Tina Turner in the future. So
looking forward to it.
Yes. Let's go talk about our improved finale, where we're not going to throw a bunch of numbers and statistics at you anymore. And
No, I know. All of you are very disappointed.
All right, so first up, let's just go through our top songs for the artists that we covered this season.
Okay.
So you got to pick one song from everything we listened to. What do we got? Bruno Mars.
Versace on the Floor.
Gorilla.
Not mad at it.
James Brown.
The Payback.
Try Me.
Wow, okay.
I love that song.
I mean, it's a great song. It was both our top.
Queensryche.
Jet City Woman.
New Regal. Dream Theater.
The Silent Man.
I swear to God.
Fuck you.
Metropolis Part 1.
That was my bottom track.
Well, so was The Silent Man for me.
That's
so
fine.
Aren't we both content? Fucking Dream Theater land.
We can agree to disagree.
Cody Jinks.
Stranger.
The Way I Am. Whiskey Myers.
Bad Weather.
Shelter from the Rain. It's kind of,
yeah.
Isn't it? It's a little strange.
We like it when it rains with Whiskey Myers, apparently.
But we can hide from it.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be safe with Whiskey Myers. Hanson.
Juliet.
Voice in the Chorus. Justin Bieber.
I'll Show You.
Ah, man.
What?
No pressure. I wondered if this was going to be somewhere where we would agree somehow, even though we didn't to begin with.
So far, we haven't agreed at all.
Archers.
Making Eyes.
Composure. I See Stars.
10,000 Feet.
There we agree.
Okay. It's one of their top songs, period. So
the sheer amount of times I've listened to that fucking song, ridiculous. Incubus.
Aqueous Transmission.
Dig. Gorillaz.
Empire Ants.
Dirty Harry. Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Money Money.
Mo Murda. 3-6 Mafia.
Poppin' My Collar.
Tear the Club Up 97. Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Porcelain.
That's a good song, though.
It is. And I think that they don't have enough songs like that one.
I just wanted to hold on that for a minute so I could take in the fact that you really do like some Chili Peppers. It's
apparently
still blowing my mind a bit.
when they're paired against Primus, I really like Chili Peppers.
Mine was Californication. Primus.
Winona's Got a Big Brown Beaver.
Winona's Big Brown Beaver was also my top track. Do you mess that song title up on purpose? Or is that just...
Okay, first of all, you can pronounce it either way. I know
According to... It's written Winona's Big Brown Beaver, not Winona's Got a Big Brown Beaver.
Oh. They say it in the song, and I love it. Yes, that's totally intentional. I thought you were talking about the way we pronounced... I say Winona, you say Winona.
Goddamn it. Okay.
Yes, I do it intentionally. What are you talking about?
Who did it come down to for your top 4 artists?
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Bruno Mars, Hanson, Incubus, and Bone Thugs.
Well, 2 out of 4. Mine were Queensryche, Hanson,
obviously,
I See Stars, and Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Okay.
Who won?
Bruno Mars.
Mine was Queensryche.
He's the only perfect rating that I gave. His 24 Karat Magic album, I gave a perfect rating. Made sense. Once you give an album a perfect rating, if it's your only one, it's pretty likely that artist is going to win.
Right.
So I'm very, very stingy when it comes with my perfect album ratings. If you look at my my history, you would probably shake your head a lot at my selection.
I think you better represent most people.
Aw, thanks,
than
Shane.
my overly nice 5s giving ass is.
I feel like that's a polite way to say, use a basic bitches fuck.
No, I don't think in terms of basic bitches, and I definitely don't want to say that the masses are basic bitches. I think you like things that... I know. I I wasn't trying to walk it back for you. I was walking it back for the listeners. I don't want them thinking I have some snobby turn up my nose at you thing.
Well,
I should mention that my Icy Stars being in the top 4, they were basically at a dead tie with Incubus.
Yeah.
So Incubus would have been right up there.
I'm not surprised Icy Stars ranked so highly for you. I think that during that episode and the Primus episode, I don't think that we agreed at all during those episodes when it came to Icy Stars and Primus, because they were my lowest rated artists and they were some of your highest. So
Anyway, moving on to our best and worst. Who had your top average for the season?
Bruno Mars at a 4.7.
You gave a number. I don't want to hear any numbers.
Okay, sorry, my bad. Bruno Mars. I take it back.
My top was Dream Theater.
Okay.
Who's your bottom average?
Primus.
Gorillas. What about your top 5s?
Bruno Mars.
Queensryche. Bottom 5s?
Primus.
Gorillas.
Okay.
Top purchase value?
Bruno Mars.
Queensryche.
This is getting boring.
Bottom purchase value?
Primus.
Yeah, so Primus is low for you.
Yeah, I think that's obvious.
It was Gorillas for me all the way.
I was going to say, I think it was Gorillas for you.
So who lost during the season that probably would have won if it had been any other week?
Bone Thugs.
Mine was Dream Theater.
Okay, I think that makes total sense.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's talk about top and bottom albums.
Okay.
Who had your highest average? What album?
Bruno Mars, 24 Karat, gave it a perfect rating. I think I've reserved it to like one album a season. I think the past 3 seasons, I've given out just one. And Bruno Mars's 24 Karat Magic album. Got it for season 6.
Well, I clearly have no cap and don't think about that whatsoever. I had 6 perfect ratings. 7 if you count Today with Greta Van Fleet.
Mm-hmm.
So Archer's New Normal, Whiskey Myers' Mud, Queensryche's Rage for Order, 2 albums by Dream Theater, Images and Words, and A Dramatic Turn of Events, and then Bruno Mars with 24 Karat Magic.
It's easy to keep track of the albums that you give perfect ratings to when you're giving out so little. So it's easy for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not you. That wasn't like the comment to you.
I thought you were talking about me at first.
No,
and then I
no,
realized,
I'm
she's talking about
me.
herself.
I'm always talking about myself.
What album had the highest purchase value for you?
Bruno Mars, 24 Karat Magic.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It did not have that many tracks on it either.
No, but they were all 5s.
They're good, yeah. Mine was 3 6 Mafia with Chapter 2, World Domination, for obvious reasons.
You hinted at in a promo, one of our past promos, that would have probably...
It did, and I felt bad when I said it in the video, because we're just dicking around on video trying to bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to act an idiot on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
But I felt bad, like I had done my friend Masa wrong when he was here.
Because you didn't tell him how you felt?
Well, no, I didn't know how I felt. I was actively thinking about it while we were discussing. And then it occurred to me, I'm going to listen to Chapter 2 more often. It's got higher purchase value, obviously. You know. Anyway, so what album had the most 5s for you? Bruno Mars, 24 Karat Magic.
Wow, it's like magic. He already knows. It's like 24 Karat Magic.
Mine again was Chapter 2, World Domination from 3 6 Mafia. What about your bottom album of the season?
Are we talking 5s? Are we talking purchase value? What are we talking?
Or average? Whatever you would have said was the bottom album.
Okay. New Demons.
You really don't like not being given clear instructions.
I mean, it could be left to interpretation.
Indeed.
New Demons by Icy Stars. And since we're not listing numbers, I'm not allowed to say.
Okay. That was a very good album, by the way. So
I know. That's why I said I don't think we could have disagreed more during those episodes.
Yeah.
Because I really liked Archers, but you were really into Icy Stars.
We don't click on metalcore. That's where we're at.
And that's okay.
So bottom album for me wound up being the first 2 Justin Bieber albums.
Yeah.
And all 3 of the Gorillaz albums.
Yeah, you didn't enjoy it.
I could live without all of that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I have no comment on that.
Whose win or loss surprised you most this season?
Incubus and Dream Theater's wins really surprised me. Especially Incubus.
Yeah, you had it in your head they were douchey.
Yeah, I did.
I bet you still feel that way when you think about them, even though you know better now.
I mean, I'm a part of the demographic now, so I can't be too hateful.
Whiskey Myers surprised me. I assumed my Aunt Jennifer's pick would win.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just because.
Yeah. She talked up Cody Jinks, so I fully anticipated loving it. Because usually I do love Jennifer's recommendations. That was not one that I loved as much.
By the way, congratulations to her.
Congratulations. You are now married and engaged at the same time.
Yeah, doing the most. Overachieving ass. Some of us can't even get the first step.
We're
She's
talking
doing
about
both.
Rayburn again. Which of these artists have you been listening to the most? Or which of the artists have you been listening to the most?
James Brown and Bone Thugs.
I See Stars.
Not surprised.
Hands down.
Apparently, when Spotify looked back, I listened to a lot of soul over the past year. It was probably like my second top genre of the year, and I have Rated Radio to thank for that.
It makes sense to me.
If you know where I
like the
come
slower
from,
acoustic stuff, and the Black Keys have that soul vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I think you're nursing the wound of me coming at you for Al Green. So
fuck you. I'm still not.
I keep
not
doing
over
this,
it.
by the way, because I think someday I'm going to eat my words.
You will.
I know there are Al Green songs out there that I enjoy. That Greatest Hits album just did not do it for me.
And to hear Shane's opinion, go back and listen to our Greatest Hits special.
Yes.
That's available in our store.
I took the price down on those, by the way.
Hey.
So they're only $2 now.
Hey, it's a special for a special.
Yeah. I want people to have access to it. I don't want them paying an arm and a leg just to hear the episode.
Yeah.
Did you genuinely dislike any of these artists?
I feel like you already know what I'm going to say. But yes, and I don't say this very often, Primus. Sorry, Jennifer. Not for me. No.
I don't think Jennifer loves Primus either. It's her kids.
Okay, well, sorry to them. And sorry for my mother and father-in-law. I just said I wasn't married, but sorry to them. They really enjoy Primus, so I apologize.
I will agree with your taste there, Myers family. Surprisingly, this is normally a boring question for me. Like, I just, no, I love everything.
Yeah.
No, Gorillaz was not an enjoyable listen for me. I did not like it.
You are entitled to your opinion, as always. We all are. But that surprises me.
They skated by, you know. The music wasn't horrible. It was kind of elevator-ish and dull. Every now and then they'd hit a 5, and I'd be like, okay, it's an okay 5.
Yeah. For
most of it, I was just like, be over with already. This is so boring.
I mean,
it's what I expected of the Black Keys, but that's not what happened.
I was surprised that I didn't like them more. That's why Incubus won that week for me. But I'm surprised that they're the artist that you didn't like and your lowest.
It happens.
I mean, we're on record. People can listen to this shit.
What did you learn during this battle of the bands?
That it is acceptable to never listen to another artist again.
What?
It is acceptable to never listen to another artist's music again. Meaning...
Oh, to not go back to somebody you didn't like? To not go back.
I worded that very, very terribly.
Like, hold up. You mean you're done listening to music?
I'm done. This is
we run a podcast
where I announce that I'm done with the podcast. I'm sorry. You're on your own from now on. No, Primus and I See Stars, I will not listen to again unless it's for podcast purposes. On my own, hard no.
I learned that I still have a metalcore obsession. And you can kiss my ass because we are far from done with metalcore. Which artist have you picked for the next battle of the bands?
If you were listening earlier in the episode, I teased it a bit. I have chosen Yin Yang Twins.
And we're switching it up
Yin Yang in the style.
A little bit next season. Very small changes. But one of the changes you'll notice is we're not just going to tell you who we're covering from now on. We're actually going to give you the albums in advance.
We're being proactive.
So that if you're a regular listener and you want to follow along, you can go do that now. Not wait on us to just give you an opinion that you go like, yeah, Shane's an idiot. This was stupid.
I mean, you can continue to do that. I'm not going to hold anything against you.
That having been said, Rayburn, what albums did you pick by Yin Yang Twins?
I picked Me and My Brother from 2003, My Brother and Me from 2004, and USA, United States of Atlanta from 2005. And coincidentally, I did not pick the album that has Whistle While You Twerk on it.
No, you did not.
But I have listened to plenty of that song since picking those albums.
And I had Yin Yang Twins paired up in my list against Lil Jon and the East Side Boys.
We gon' get crunk.
And what albums did you pick from Lil Jon and the East Side Boys?
From Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, because you need to specify. If you go to Spotify and look up Lil Jon,
you're going to get in the wrong place. You won't find all the music you're looking for.
Yes, which I didn't even know he just made music under that name. I just always thought it was Lil Jon and the East Side Boys.
He do. The East Side Boys is two people.
Yep. The albums that I picked by Lil Jon and the East Side Boys is Put Yo Hood Up from 2001, Kings of Crunk from 2002 and Crunk Juice from 2004. So staying within the right years of each other. This music was going on at the same time. So get ready to go back into time.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s.
That's how we're kicking off season 7. And we'll follow that week with my pick of the Cranberries, who I have paired up against Kay's Choice.
Mm-hmm. And I've never heard of Kay's Choice.
You'd never heard of
I've
Kay's
never heard
Choice?
of them. I've heard of them because of you, but I've never sat down and listened to their music. So going into this thing, I am a biased Cranberry fan.
I just want to say, since you're saying things, that I picked what I picked there because I like to pick things where I don't know who's going to win.
I don't know who's going to win because I've never listened to Kay's Choice. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, like, I love these artists so much that I really have no idea. It's like Dream Theater and Queensryche. Oh. I had no idea.
Okay. Because you love them both so much.
Right.
Okay.
I love that I put my papers down like I didn't have some outro to read or something.
Well,
we're done.
Before we do the outro.
Oh, yeah. You want to give away something.
Yeah, let's give away something.
Jesus.
Listen to giveaway.
Jam jar giveaways. Yeah. Here's your jar.
All right. So we have decided.
Can't hear, basically.
Sorry. We have, in case you can't hear, here it is. We've decided to do a listener giveaway every season. And for this season.
At least for now, until Raven gets tired of spending money.
Yes.
This is what we're doing.
So as a thank you, we've decided to give away free Raid Radio merch of their choosing to Gloria Myers from Facebook.
Huh.
Yeah. So,
I have to check myself whenever you open the jar because
why?
I forget that the majority of this is people we know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that is very true. So congratulations, Gloria. I will be reaching out for you to pick out your free Rated Radio merchandise that you can rep to all your favorite people and some of your not favorite people. So congratulations on being a devoted listener.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
I'm sorry you had to sit through the poor Primus opinion that existed for one half of this show.
I practically just spat in her face, but here's some free shit to make it all better.
That's going to do it for this week. Hit up our playlist on Spotify, visit our merch shop, share our show with your friends. Come find us on social media and let us know what you think. And until next time, the start of season 7, fill your world with music.
And let's do this again real soon.